I didn't know you were coming, I said, forcing a smile as Ryan stood near the kitchen counter. Ryan shrugged. Emma said it was fine. I looked at Emma. You said this was just us and a few friends. She crossed her arms. I didn't think it mattered. It does to me, I said. He's your ex. Ryan laughed softly. Man, relax. That was years ago. I felt my jaw tighten. You don't get to tell me how to feel. Emma sighed. Why are you making this weird? I'm not, I said. I'm just uncomfortable. She shook her head. You're being dramatic. I stared at her. Dramatic? Ryan leaned forward. Emma, it's okay. If he wants me to leave. No, Emma said quickly. You didn't do anything wrong. The room went quiet. I asked, did you hear what you just said? She frowned. What? You defended him, I said. Not me. She rolled her eyes. I'm just being fair. Fair? I repeated. I'm your boyfriend. And here's my past, she said. I'm not going to treat him like a criminal. Ryan smirked. See? She gets it. I looked at him. This doesn't concern you. Emma snapped. Don't talk to him like that. That sentence landed harder than anything else. I said quietly, you just chose him. That's not true, she said. You're twisting things. I said I was uncomfortable, I replied. You ignored it. She stepped closer. Because your insecurity isn't my problem. I felt something crack inside me. Ryan cleared his throat. Maybe I should go. Emma shook her head again. No. Stay. I whispered, wow. She looked annoyed. What now? I never asked you to erase your past, I said. I just thought I mattered more than it. You do matter, she said, but her voice lacked weight. Ryan checked his phone. I'll grab a drink. When he walked away, I said, if I had an ex here who made you uncomfortable, I'd ask her to leave. Emma laughed once. That's because you're controlling. The word stung. Setting boundaries isn't control. She replied, defending a friend isn't betrayal. I asked, is that what he is to you? She hesitated. Yes. That pause told me everything. I nodded slowly. Okay. Okay what? She asked. Okay, I see where I stand. She scoffed. You're overthinking. No, I said. I'm finally thinking clearly. Ryan returned. Everything cool? Emma smiled at him. Yeah. She didn't look at me. I felt invisible, like a guest who stayed too long. I said, I'm going to step out. For what? Emma asked. Air, I replied. Perspective. She waved her hand. Do whatever you want. At the door, I stopped. Emma, if the roles were reversed. She cut me off. I already told you how I feel. I nodded again. That's the problem. I left without slamming the door. In the hallway, my hand shook. I replayed her words. You didn't do anything wrong. She wasn't talking to me. I realized something had broken. Not loudly. Not all at once. But completely. I kept telling myself I was overreacting. It was just a moment, I said to Emma the next morning. Things got tense. She poured coffee. Exactly. You made it bigger than it was. I didn't mean to, I replied. I just felt pushed aside. She sighed. I already told you, nothing is going on. I watched her face. Then why did you defend him so fast? Because you were attacking him, she said. I was setting a boundary, I said quietly. She looked away. You always twist words. That hurt, but I swallowed it. I love you, Emma. I trust you. She softened. And I love you too. Those words calmed me more than they should have. Later that day, I met Lucas. He leaned back and said, So you're telling me she picked her ex's comfort over yours? I frowned. She didn't pick him. Lucas raised an eyebrow. You sure? She explained it, I said. I believe her. He shrugged. Just don't ignore patterns. There is no pattern, I replied. It was one night. Lucas stuttered me. You're defending her the way she defended him. I laughed it off. That's different. Is it? He asked. I changed the subject. That night, Emma texted. Ryan asked how you're feeling. I stared at the screen. Why are you still talking to him? I typed. She replied, we are on good terms. That's all. His name keeps coming up, I wrote. It bothers me. She answered, you're reading too much into it. I said, I just don't want history repeating itself. She sent, you don't trust me. I hesitated. I do. I just need reassurance. You're exhausting sometimes, she replied. That word stayed with me. A week later, she mentioned him again. Ryan thinks I should switch teams at work. I asked, why does he have opinions on your life? She snapped, because he knows me. So do I said. She crossed her arms. Not everything is about you. I felt small. I'm trying to understand. She softened again. And I'm trying to be patient. That balance confused me. Days passed like that. Calm, then tension. Smiles, then distance. One evening, I said, do you still have feelings for him? She laughed. Why would you even ask that? Because he's always there, I said. She replied, you're imagining competition. I'm feeling replaced, I admitted. She touched my arm. You're not. That touch convinced me more than logic. I told Lucas. She says I'm insecure. Lucas replied, or you're noticing things early. I don't want to be the jealous guy, I said. You're allowed to be uncomfortable, he said. I went back to Emma. If something ever crosses a line, you'll tell me, right? She smiled. Of course. Promise? I asked. I promise, she said. I chose to believe her. I told myself love meant trust. I told myself trust meant silence. I ignored the voice warning me. Because losing her felt worse than losing myself. That choice felt noble then. It would cost me later. I kept replaying her smile when she said his name. It's nothing, I told myself. At dinner, I said, you've been quiet. She replied, work is stressful. Is Ryan part of that? I asked carefully. Her fork paused. Why are you obsessed with him? I'm not obsessed, I said. I'm worried. She exhaled. You worry too much. I worry because I care, I said. She nodded. And I care because I'm honest. That sounded like reassurance. I said, if I ever hurt you, tell me. She answered, you won't. How do you know? I asked. Because you're not him, she said. I smiled, thinking that meant something. Lucas later texted, still uneasy. I replied, I'm choosing trust. He sent, just don't choose blindness. I didn't respond. I held on to Emma's words instead. They felt safer than my doubts. I told Emma, I don't want secrets between us. She said, then don't make problems where there are none. I nodded. Okay. She smiled. See? We are fine. I repeated that to myself. Fine meant stable. Stable meant love. Love meant staying quiet. That logic kept me calm. At least, that's what I believed then. That night, I lay awake thinking, trust is easy to give. I whispered, please don't make me regret this. Emma slept beside me, peaceful. I chose patience over instinct. I chose hope over fear. I didn't know trust, once broken, never fully returns. I closed my eyes and decided to believe. Because love felt like a risk worth taking. Because walking away felt impossible. Because I still thought reassurance meant safety. That belief would haunt me. Just not yet. For now, I stayed. And I told myself, one last time, that trusting her was love. I was wrong then. I would learn that slowly. Later. I thought you said it was just dinner, I said when I saw Ryan pull out a chair. Emma smiled. I didn't think you'd mind. Ryan laughed. Relax, man. We are all adults. I forced a nod. Sure. The waiter asked, "Drinks?" Emma said, "Same as last time," and Ryan said, "You still remember?" She laughed. "Of course I do." That laugh didn't belong to me. Ryan leaned back. "You know, Emma always hated spicy food." I said, "She eats it all the time now." He grinned. "Guess she pretends better these days." Emma laughed again. "You're impossible." I stared at my plate. Ryan added, "Remember when you said you'd never date someone serious?" Emma shook her head, smiling. "I was young." I said quietly, "I'm sitting right here." Ryan raised his hands. "Just joking." Emma said, "Don't be so sensitive." That word again. Ryan smirked. "He's protective." She replied, "No, he's insecure." The table went silent. I asked, "Did you just say that?" She waved her hand. "You know what I mean." Ryan chuckled. "Man, you should loosen up." I looked at Emma. "Are you okay with this?" She said, "With what?" "With him making jokes about me," I said. "They're harmless," she replied. I felt heat rise in my chest. "They don't feel harmless." She sighed. "Why do you always ruin the mood?" Ryan said, "I can leave if it's a problem." Emma said quickly, "It's not." That answer landed hard. Sophie, sitting across from us, looked at me. "Are you okay?" I nodded. "I'm fine." She didn't look convinced. Ryan leaned toward Emma. "You always get tense when people argue." Emma smiled. "You know me too well." I said, "I thought I did." She ignored me. Ryan joked, "See? Still dramatic." Emma laughed. "Some things never change." I wasn't laughing. Sophie cleared her throat. "Maybe we should change the topic." Emma replied, "There's nothing wrong." I said, "There is for me." Emma turned to me. "Not everything is about you." That sentence hurt more than the joke. Ryan said, "Cheers to old friends." Emma raised her glass. I didn't. After dinner, I walked ahead. Emma caught up. "Why are you acting like that?" I stopped. "Like what?" "Cold," she said. "I felt invisible," I replied. She crossed her arms. "Because you chose to be." "That's not fair," I said. "You embarrass me," she snapped. I asked, "By asking for respect?" "You made it awkward," she said. "He mocked me," I replied. She laughed once. "You're exaggerating." I felt my voice shake. "You laughed with him." "So," she said. "It was funny." "At my expense," I said. She replied, "You're too serious." I stared at her. "Why do you keep choosing his side?" "I'm not choosing sides," she said. "You're forcing me." That twisted everything. I said, "I feel like the third person in my own relationship." She scoffed. "That's ridiculous." "Is it?" I asked. She said, "You're insecure and jealous." I whispered, "Or I'm finally seeing clearly." She rolled her eyes. "You always do this." "Do what?" I asked. "Create drama," she said. I shook my head. I asked for respect. She replied, "And I'm tired of reassuring you." That word again. I stepped back. When did I become a burden? She didn't answer. I remembered Sophie's look at the table. I remembered Emma's laughter. I asked myself a question I didn't want answered. When did loving her turn into betraying myself? "I think we need space," I said, my voice flat. Emma looked up from her phone. "You're serious?" "I'm tired," I replied. Not angry. Just tired. She sighed. "So this is how you handle problems?" "I've been handling them alone," I said. She stood up. "You're giving up." I shook my head. "I'm choosing myself." She crossed her arms. "After everything." "After everything I swallowed," I said. She waited, like she expected more. I asked, "Do you want me to stay?" She didn't answer. That silence was louder than any fight. I nodded. "That's my answer." She said, "You're being dramatic again." I smiled weakly. Maybe. But I can't keep begging to be respected. She looked away. Do what you want. I walked into the bedroom and started packing. She didn't follow. I folded shirts slowly, hoping she'd say something. She didn't. I carried the bag to the door. She finally spoke. You'll regret this. I replied, I already regret staying. I left without slamming the door. The hallway felt endless. I called my sister. Anna, can I come over? She said immediately, yes. What happened? I'll tell you later, I said. She didn't push. I'm here. That night, I sat on her couch. She handed me tea. Talk. I feel stupid, I said. She shook her head. For loving. For ignoring myself, I said. She said, that's not stupidity. That's hope. I stared at the floor. She didn't even try to stop me. Anna sighed. Sometimes silence is the answer. I keep thinking I imagined it, I said. You didn't, she replied. Your face says otherwise. I laughed once. I feel replaceable. You're not, she said firmly. I let her make me feel small, I admitted. She said, you trusted someone who didn't protect you. I whispered, I hate that I still miss her. That doesn't mean you were wrong, Anna said. I stayed quiet. Later, my phone buzzed. No message from Emma. Just silence. I said, I thought there'd be an explanation. Anna asked, would it change anything? I shook my head. I just wanted honesty. She said, some people avoid truth because it costs them comfort. I lay awake that night. I replayed every conversation. Every time I stayed calm. Every time I doubted myself. I moved out the next day while Emma was at work. I left a note. I hope you find what you're looking for. I didn't sign it. At Anna's place, days blurred together. She asked one night, do you want revenge? I said, no. I want quiet. She nodded. That's healing. I felt lonely in a way I couldn't explain. Not loud loneliness. Empty loneliness. I missed who I thought she was. I missed who I was with her. But I didn't miss the pain. One night, I said, what if I was the problem? Anna looked at me. Then she would have talked, not dismissed. That settled something inside me. Weeks passed. Still no apology. No explanation. Just distance. I realized closure wasn't coming. I had to walk without it. I stood by the window one evening and said, I feel unfinished. Anna replied, unfinished doesn't mean broken. I breathed in slowly. Walking away felt like failure. But staying felt like erasing myself. I chose the pain I could live with. I didn't know then this quiet exit would save me. I only knew I couldn't go back. So I kept walking. Even without answers. Even without her. Even alone. Again, Mr. Harris said, tapping the table. I already finished it, I replied. Finished doesn't mean done, he said. Do it cleaner. I nodded. Yes, sir. He watched me work for a moment, then asked, why are you so tense? I'm focused, I said. He shook his head. You're surviving, not building. That sentence stayed with me. Later, during lunch, he said, you live like you're waiting for something to go wrong. I shrugged. Habit. Bad habit, he replied. Control your reactions, not the world. I didn't answer. Work became my routine. Wake up early. Train. Work late. Repeat. Lucas once asked, do you ever rest? I don't need to, I said. He looked at me. You're hiding. I'm improving, I replied. Same thing sometimes, he said. I didn't argue. One night, Lucas said, you don't talk about her anymore. I don't need to, I said. Do you miss her? He asked. I paused. I remember her. That's different, he said. At work, Mr. Harris corrected me again. You rush when you doubt yourself. I don't doubt myself, I said. He smiled. Then why do you flinch at feedback? I stayed quiet. Months passed. My body got stronger. My voice got calmer. People noticed. You're different, a coworker said. How? I asked. Steady, she replied. I liked that word. Sometimes Emma's name crossed my mind. Not painfully. Briefly. Like a scar you notice only when touched. Anna asked one evening, "Do you feel healed?" "I feel functional," I said. She smiled sadly. "That's a start." At the gym, someone asked, "What motivates you?" I said, "Peace." They laughed, thinking I joked. I wasn't. Mr. Harris once said, "Stop proving your worth." I replied, "I'm not." "You are," he said. To ghosts. That hit harder than expected. I stopped chasing approval. I stopped explaining myself. When mistakes happened, I fixed them quietly. When praise came, I accepted it without chasing more. Lucas said, "You don't need anyone's permission anymore." I never did, I replied. "But now you know," he said. Loneliness still showed up. Not loud. Just quiet evenings and empty rooms. I told Anna, "It feels boring." She laughed. That's stability. I missed intensity sometimes. I missed feeling chosen. Then I remembered how that felt. I didn't miss it anymore. At work, Mr. Harris said, "You're ready for more responsibility." I asked, "Why?" "Because you don't panic," he replied. "And you don't beg." I nodded. "Thank you." He added, "Confidence isn't noise. It's consistency." I carried that with me. One night, Emma appeared in a dream. She was saying something I couldn't hear. I woke up calm. That surprised me. Lucas texted, "You alive?" I replied, "Yeah. Just quiet." He sent, "Proud of you." I didn't chase the feeling. I just read it and slept. Years passed like that. Repetition. Discipline. Silence. Growth without applause. One afternoon, Mr. Harris asked, "What changed you?" I said, "Disappointment." He nodded. Good teacher. I realized I wasn't angry anymore. Not at Emma. Not at myself. Just aware. Aware of boundaries. Aware of patterns. Aware of my value. Anna said one night, "You don't look lost anymore." "I'm not," I said. "Where are you?" she asked. "Here," I replied. That felt enough. Sometimes people asked, "Are you seeing anyone?" I said, "Not yet." They said, "Why not?" I answered, "I'm not lonely." That confused them. Healing wasn't dramatic. No speeches. No revenge. Just showing up every day. Doing the work. Not collapsing. Not explaining. I became calm. Stable. Self-aware. I didn't need validation. I didn't need her regret. I didn't need closure. I needed consistency. And I finally gave it to myself. 3 years passed. I wasn't the man who begged for understanding. I wasn't the man who stayed quiet to be loved. I was someone else. Someone solid. Someone present. Someone who could walk into any room without shrinking. I didn't win loudly. But I won completely. And for the first time, that felt like enough. "Hey," Emma said, stopping in front of me. I looked up. "Hi." She hesitated. "I didn't expect to see you here." "Neither did I replied. There was a pause. Too long. Heavy. She said, "You look different." "So do you," I said. She smiled weakly. "I guess time does that." "Sometimes," I replied. We stood there, unsure. She asked, "Can we talk?" I nodded. "Sure." We sat at a small table. She kept adjusting her hands. "How have you been?" she asked. "I'm good," I said. She blinked. "Just good?" "Yes," I replied. She laughed softly. "You always used to explain more." "I don't anymore," I said. Another pause. She said, "I heard you're doing well." "I am," I replied. "I'm glad," she said, but her voice shook. I noticed the tiredness in her eyes. She said, "I didn't plan this." "I know," I replied. She took a breath. "Ryan's gone." I nodded once. I figured. He left a year ago, she said. Things fell apart. I stayed quiet. She continued, I thought I knew what I wanted. I said, most people do. She looked at me. You sound calm. I am, I replied. That hurts, she said honestly. I didn't react. She said, you're not asking anything. I don't need to, I said. She swallowed. I thought you would. I already asked my questions, I replied. When? She asked. When I was with you, I said. She looked down. I didn't answer them. I noticed, I replied. Her hand shook slightly. My life didn't turn out how I planned. I'm sorry, I said, and meant it. She looked surprised. You are? Yes, I replied. But I'm not responsible. She nodded slowly. She said, you seem steady. I worked for that, I said. She smiled sadly. I can tell. Another silence. She said, do you ever think about us? I answered honestly. Sometimes. Her eyes brightened. And it doesn't hurt anymore, I said. That dimmed her hope. She said, I hurt you. Yes, I replied. I regret it, she whispered. I know, I said. She looked up sharply. How? Because regret changes people, I replied. You're different. She laughed bitterly. Not better. That's not for me to judge, I said. She leaned forward. I never apologized. You didn't, I agreed. I'm sorry, she said quickly. For choosing wrong. For making you feel invisible. I listened without interrupting. She asked, does that help? I thought for a moment. It helps you say it. And you? She asked. I already healed, I said. Her eyes filled. I don't think I have. I can see that, I replied gently. She said, I thought you'd still be angry. I was, I said. Not anymore. That scares me, she admitted. Why? I asked. Because it means I lost you completely, she said. I nodded. That happened a long time ago. She wiped her eyes. Do you hate me? No, I replied. I just don't need you. She closed her eyes at that. She said, I thought maybe. I waited. She continued, maybe we could talk again. Slowly. I shook my head. I don't go backward. She whispered, you used to. I know, I replied. That's why this is different. She took a deep breath. You're strong. I'm stable, I corrected. She smiled through tears. I wish I had been. So do I said. She stood up. I won't keep you. Take care, I replied. She paused. You deserved better. I know, I said. She walked away slowly. I didn't watch her leave. I finished my drink. I felt nothing urgent. No questions. No anger. Just clarity. I realized something as I stood up. I didn't need answers anymore. She did. And that was the difference. Can we talk again? Emma asked when she saw me the next day. I paused. About what? The truth, she said. All of it. I nodded. Say it. She took a breath. I defended Ryan because I never fully let go. I didn't react. She continued. I thought I had moved on, but I hadn't. I know, I said. Her eyes widened. You do. Yes, I replied. I felt it every time you chose him. She swallowed. I was scared to face it. I wasn't, I said. I faced it alone. Her voice shook. I'm sorry. I waited. She added, I'm sorry for making you feel small. I know, I said again. That's it? She asked. That's enough, I replied. She frowned. Don't you want more? I don't, I said. She looked frustrated. I ruined us. You revealed us, I corrected. She whispered, I loved you. I believe that, I said. It just wasn't enough. She rubbed her face. I wish I could undo it. I don't, I replied. She looked hurt. Why? Because that moment changed my life, I said. She leaned forward. How? I met her eyes. It taught me my worth. She was quiet. I continued, when you defended him, I learned what silence costs. She said, I didn't mean to hurt you. I know, I replied. Intent doesn't erase impact. She nodded slowly. I deserve that. I thought about revenge. About saying things that would cut. I didn't. I chose honesty. I said, I stopped trusting my instincts because of you. She winced. I stayed quiet to keep peace, I continued. That broke me. Tears ran down her face. I never knew. You never asked, I replied. She whispered, Ryan used me. I know, a voice said behind us. I turned. Daniel stood there. Hey. I blinked. Daniel. He nodded. Long time. Emma looked confused. You know him. Daniel said, I was Ryan's friend. She stiffened. Was. He used people, Daniel replied. You weren't special. Emma's shoulders dropped. Daniel continued, he stayed because it benefited him. She asked, why didn't you tell me? He wouldn't listen to me either, Daniel said, looking at me. I nodded. Daniel added, he left when things got hard. Emma covered her mouth. Daniel looked at me. You walked away. Smart. Thank you, I said. Daniel turned to Emma. You defended the wrong man. She whispered, I know. Daniel left quietly. Emma looked at me. So it's true. Yes, I said. And I didn't have to lift a finger. She laughed weakly. Karma. Just consequences, I replied. She said, I thought you'd be happy to see me suffer. I'm not happy, I said. I'm neutral. That's worse, she said. I know, I replied. She asked, do you forgive me? I thought carefully. I let go of resentment. That's forgiveness, she said. For me, I replied. Not for us. She nodded. I understand. She hesitated. If I had chosen you that night, I wouldn't be who I am now, I said. That hurts, she admitted. It saved me, I replied. She wiped her face. I regret everything. I believe you, I said. She asked, is there anything I can do? Yes, I replied. She leaned forward. What? Don't rewrite the past, I said. Learn from it. She nodded. I will. I stood up. She said, you're not staying. No, I replied. This conversation is over. She whispered, I lost you. I answered calmly, you let me go. She watched me leave. I felt no rush. No victory. Just balance. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need apologies. I needed truth. I got it. Karma spoke without my voice. And for the first time, that was enough. Wait, Emma said as I reached the door. I turned. What is it? She took a breath. Can we try again? I didn't answer right away. She rushed. I know I don't deserve it, but I've changed. I believe you, I said. Her eyes lit up. Then. No, I finished calmly. She froze. No. Yes, I said. No. She stepped closer. You didn't even think about it. I already did, I replied. She whispered, I'm asking for another chance. I know, I said. And I'm declining. Her voice cracked. Why? Because love without respect is just pain, I said. She shook her head. I respect you now. Now, I repeated. When it's safe. She said, I didn't know better then. I did, I replied. I just ignored myself. She reached for my arm. Please. I stepped back. I won't beg anymore. She dropped her hand. I used to, I continued. I used to explain my hurt until I felt small. She cried. I never wanted that. I know, I said. But it happened. She asked, So that's it. That's it, I replied. She wiped her face. You're so calm. I worked for this, I said. She laughed bitterly. I don't recognize you. That's growth, I replied. She whispered, I loved you. I believe you, I said. But love needs protection. She nodded slowly. I won't hate you, I added. I won't punish you. She looked confused. Then what are you doing? I'm choosing myself, I said. She said nothing. I walked outside. The air felt lighter. My phone buzzed. Lucas texted, How'd it go? I replied, I said no. He sent, Proud of you. Anna called. Are you okay? I am, I said. Really? She asked. Yes, I replied. I didn't feel guilty. She smiled through the phone. That's strength. I met them later that evening. Lucas said, You look steady. I am, I replied. Anna asked, Did she cry? Yes, I said. And you? She asked. I stayed quiet, I replied. Lucas nodded. That's power. I thought back to who I was. The man who begged to be heard. The man who stayed silent to keep peace. I wasn't him anymore. Anna said, You didn't save her. I wasn't supposed to, I said. Lucas added, You saved yourself. I smiled. Later that night, I sat alone. No anger. No regret. Just clarity. I didn't win by leaving her behind. I won by not dragging hate with me. I realized something important. Walking away without bitterness felt better than any apology. I didn't need her regret. I didn't need her tears. I needed my boundary respected. I gave that to myself. For the first time, silence felt strong. Not empty. Not lonely. Just firm. I remembered how I once begged for understanding. Now I stood without words. That difference mattered. Emma's voice echoed faintly in my memory. It didn't pull me back. I slept easily that night. No dreams. No replay. Just rest. In the morning, I woke clear. No urge to explain. No urge to check my phone. I had chosen. And choice felt like freedom. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just real. Power wasn't winning an argument. It wasn't being chosen. Power was leaving without hate. And not looking back. That was enough. That was everything. I stood alone on the balcony and said out loud, It didn't end me. The city answered with silence. I remembered that night clearly. Emma's voice. Calm. Certain. You didn't do anything wrong. She wasn't talking to me. For a long time, I thought that sentence was my loss. Now I knew better. Lucas once asked me, Do you feel like you won? I replied, No. He said, Good. Winners chase trophies. Anna asked later, Do you still feel angry? I answered, No. I feel complete. She smiled. That's better. I didn't celebrate Emma's pain. I didn't enjoy knowing her life fell apart. That wasn't my victory. My victory was quieter. It was waking up without fear. It was speaking without rehearsing. It was trusting my instincts again. I told myself, she didn't ruin me. She revealed what I refused to see. I thought betrayal shattered me. It didn't. It stripped me. It forced me to rebuild without lies. I remembered how I once begged for reassurance. Now I gave it to myself. I remembered how I stayed silent to keep love. Now I chose silence to keep peace. Those were not the same. Anna said once, You don't flinch anymore. I learned what flinching costs, I replied. I no longer blamed Emma. Blame kept me tied to her. Understanding set me free. I saw that moment clearly now. Her choosing comfort over truth. Her defending familiarity over respect. That was the beginning. Not the end. I whispered, Thank you. Not to her. To the lesson. Lucas asked, Would you change anything? I said, No. He raised an eyebrow. If she hadn't said that, I continued, I'd still be shrinking. He nodded. Pain that teaches is expensive. But worth it, I said. I didn't hate Ryan. I didn't compete with him. He was never my opponent. My real battle was with self-betrayal. And I won that. I looked at my hands and said, "These don't shake anymore." I didn't need closure from her. I created it myself. I stopped explaining my worth. I stopped negotiating my boundaries. I stopped mistaking attention for love. I learned that love doesn't ask you to disappear. It doesn't ask you to wait quietly. It doesn't ask you to accept less. If it does, it isn't love. I said softly, "I survived without becoming bitter." That mattered. Emma's voice faded into memory. Not sharp. Not painful. Just distant. Like a chapter I'd already finished. I didn't erase the past. I placed it where it belonged. Behind me. I understood something important. The moment she defended him wasn't betrayal alone. It was truth. Truth I wasn't ready for then. Truth I needed. I smiled once, alone. I wasn't chosen. But I chose myself. That choice changed everything. I stepped back inside. The door closed quietly. No dramatic ending. No final words. Just peace. I moved forward without carrying her regret. Without carrying my shame. Without carrying anger. I carried clarity. I carried self-respect. I carried calm. I became the man who listens to his instincts. The man who leaves when respect disappears. The man who doesn't beg to be valued. That moment broke me. And in breaking me, it rebuilt me. I didn't lose 3 years ago. I woke up. And I never went back to sleep.